Excellent.
And we are live. There we go. According to the...
we go.
Oh, yeah.
There we are.
That'll be a yes then.
That echo thing we had from the other week was horrific, wasn't it?
Oh, it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. Oh, awful. Awful.
We're all good now.
But, well-groomed shirt again this week, Nev.
Yes, not bad. It was a bit chilly earlier this morning, so I decided to put on a thicker shirt. But as you can see, I have the backdrop of Gibraltar behind me today, so it's nice and warm there.
Bit of jib.
Although the weather's been a bit choppy there again, so there've been lots of diversions to Malaga again, I've heard this week, which can happen.
Bit of jib.
Yeah.
Jib action.
Yeah. So, yes.
It's been the old summertime's come back again to us here in East Anglia. We reached the lofty heights of 15 degrees Celsius today, Nev.
That's more like it, isn't it?
But we are still having a very frosty morning. Bit of ice on the old car in the mornings.
Yeah. I must say I'm very pleased with my car where I can actually start it remotely from the app. And it warms up the steering wheel and the front seats. And it does the front windscreen as well. So that's
so
unfair.
Nice. Do you remember the days when you used to buy a Ford and you used to have to pay like £6 million to have electric windows and, you know, central locking? And
yeah, they've kind of they've gone down the route of the South Koreans now. So they do actually equip the cars very well compared to previously. So yeah,
I must admit I have excuse me, fully utilised the Jeep's heated steering wheel.
I bet, yeah.
On more than one occasion. And the seat, to be fair. I have the heated seat on as soon as I get in the morning. It's just so nice, especially if you've got a sort of bit of a bad back, which I have occasionally.
Yeah, the only thing I would say about the Ford heated seats is that there are 3 settings. Setting number 1 is really quite hot. Setting number 2 is extremely hot. And setting number 3, you might end up at accident and emergency if you aren't careful. It is extremely hot, setting number 3. Goodness only knows how much drainage is going on the battery to do that. But yes.
Yeah, I just have two sort of low and high, I suppose it is on the Jeep. It's just 2 lights, but I have to switch down to the low setting after it's got to its thing, because it does get too hot otherwise.
I may have told this story before, and I think I can get away with it because it's before we gone
live.
Properly live, as it were. Many years ago when I worked very close to East Midlands Airport, actually, I picked up one of my French colleagues from East Midlands Airport, and it was when heated front seats were just starting to come into other cars apart from Volvos and Saabs. And I forget, it must have been, oh dear, what was it? Probably my ST500 Focus, probably, something like that. And so I've picked Benjamin up from the airport. We've driven about half a mile down the road, and in a fantastic French accent, which only he has, obviously, he said, Neville, my asshole is on fire. And I thought that was very funny.
Normally it makes you feel like you've peed yourself.
Quite, yes.
That's the normal comment I get from Gemma when I switch the seat. Because I do every now and again when she gets in the car with me and we're going out somewhere now, I will, because you can sneakily just go down and just tap the seat on and then just see how long it takes for her to go, you turn my seat on. It's quite amusing, I will say.
Oh, dear.
But no, I do miss, to be fair, Nev, obviously because I had a Transit Custom before a few years back, and I do miss that heated windscreen.
Yes, they Ford had the patent on that for many years, and I think it's run out now. So you'll find it on all sorts of cars. But for the first at least 10 years, it was one of the few cars, in fact, one of the only marques that actually had the heated front screen. But yeah, I do like it, and very handy if it's frosty outside as well.
Yeah, which it has been, as I said. Getting down to 0 degrees Celsius there roundabouts here. But we haven't, we haven't had much of a winter this year, Nev.
No, we've had a small amount of, well, not really snow, but of sleet, a bit of hail. Haven't had any proper snow at all, really, I don't think. Well, we had a small amount, sorry. Was it the start of the year? I can't remember. But yeah, I mean, it was only a minor amount, really. Nothing major. Oh, plus 5 degrees in Oslo, Darren says. That's extremely mild for the time of year. That's good, isn't it? Just the job. Haven't been to Oslo for, gosh, it must be 20 years, something like that. Very good city. But if you're going there expecting to have a drink of alcohol, be surprised. It's extremely expensive.
I'm guessing it's like Geneva.
The customers that I was staying with, they said, Nev, the thing is the booze here is just so expensive. So we make our own instead. It's much cheaper. And I cannot tell you the hangover I had the following day. It was horrific. Yeah,
I'm guessing it's like Geneva, Nev, because it was quite expensive.
But it was cheap. But oh dear. Yeah, so 11 quid a pint, basically. Darren is saying that sounds about right, actually. Going back in the days, gosh. But there we are. Yes,
that is a tad expensive.
Yeah.
Not like our local. £3.70 a pint.
No, that's a good number, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, sorry, my soon-to-be local. I say that. Yeah, soon-to-be local. Hopefully.
Oh, yes. Are you going to tell us all about it?
I might just mention it, yeah.
Ah, good.
I'll say what my work colleague said to me a few days ago. Was that, oh, yes, you're moving, great. Said, after all the time and effort you spent making the studio where I am in here now, and now you're moving, so someone else will utilise this. I doubt it's a studio, but they'll probably, I think our buyers are going to be use this as a home office, kind of outside home office. So, so yeah, but it's one of those things, isn't it? We just need to downsize, get the boys somewhere safer where there's no cars driving at excessive speeds.
Oh no, we don't want any of that.
And also, it's so quiet now. We stood outside our new home, soon to be new home, at the weekend. We had our second viewing on Sunday. Stood outside, Nev, sort of in the late afternoon, and there was it was literally birds tweeting, and that was it.
Nice.
No cars, no noise.
Yeah, nice when it's like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Darren says, is that why you're moving? We're up 80% of the reason we're moving is because of Dave and Nigel. And as Nev Nev has had felines before, and he Nev understands as well how precious they are to us. So yeah. Right, I better get the VT clock up on the screen.
It's coming up to that time, isn't it?
So there we go. That's the VT clock up. I'll leave you on the screen there. If you can tell me when to hit the switch now.
Yes, I shall. about 30 seconds or so.
Okay. I'm ready to hit the button, as they say.
Yeah.
Do.
Well, it's another week with just the two of us on the show.
It is.
So,
just the two of us.
Don't know, but that means we get extra money for it. We take the money from,
HR.
Yes, that is my picture behind. Darren, that's the apron of Gibraltar, as you might realise.
How are we doing for time?
Yes, we should have started by now. Sorry.
Okay.
I was too busy talking to Darren.
It has started.
Good.
Don't panic. Right, I'll count you in, Nev.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Plain Talking UK podcast. It's episode 543, and in this week's show the original A380 MSN001 is brought back to life. There's more powerbank woes, and we take a listen to a verbal scrap, well that's a fight for our US listeners, between a pilot and ATC. In the military, one very lucky young lady has the best work experience an AV geek could wish for. And it's good news for some old UK warbirds. So joining me this week over in sunny East Anglia, and it has been sunny today, is Carlos. Hello, matey. How are you?
Good evening, Nev. How are you? Good to see you as always this week. Just it's a what do I say? It's staff issues this week, Nev.
Oh, you can't get the staff.
Issues.
No.
But yeah, good to be back on this week. And as Nev said, we've had some nice weather here in sunny East Anglia. I can say sunny East Anglia because it's been sunny in East Anglia this week. It's been very nice indeed, but chilly in the morning with some quite biting frosts. But for people like Neville Bounds and the heated windscreen on the Ford, he doesn't have to worry about things like that. So.
Yes. So, well, you have to have the usual medical catch-up, don't we, as well, at the beginning of the show. Everything okay in your world, Carlos? Anything faulty or full off or broken?
No, everything's fine with me. Just taking the usual blood pressure tablet every morning. That's about it for me. But yes. Thankfully, because we're in the process of selling our home and buying a new home in the countryside, it's I would say the stress levels should be high. They're not high at the moment, although that could probably change in the not too distant future. But as you know, Nev, solicitors can be a pain in the proverbial. But yeah, it's all good. We are moving to the countryside, selling our large family home, and an actual family's moving into this home, which is really nice. So yeah, it's there's a lot of how do I put this, Nev? You said the other week with a lot of decluttering and emptying the wardrobes of stuff that we don't wear or haven't worn in 300 years.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there, mate. Absolutely. But well, that's good news. That's good to hear that you're on the move. So, you'll be in there during hopefully the start of the summer, all being well. All being well.
We hopefully will be in a new home around about the end of June, beginning of July. Hopefully, which sounds like a long time away, but for those of you who live in the UK will know that at the end of this month, in the beginning of April, there's a thing called stamp duty here in the UK, which some of you might know about, some of you don't know about, but to put it in easy terms, stamp duty is just another way of this country to rip us off. That's my personal view on it. So at the beginning of April this year, the stamp duty rises here in the UK for people purchasing new homes or purchasing another a second home or something. So yeah, it goes up by quite a considerable jump, and by that I mean it's a very nice holiday in the Maldives is how far that price jumps, Nev.
Oh dear. And also, I think, let's face it, buying a house it's the most expensive thing you're ever going to buy. So you want it to be right as well, don't you? But it's there can be levels of stress associated with it, I must say.
Yeah.
Having done it a few times.
But
myself.
Nev, how are things with the leg and or the injuries?
No, we're all good there. Went to see the consultant on Friday at High Wycombe General Hospital, and did an X-ray, and it's all healed basically. Well, it's 90% healed, is what he says, and the next 10% will take 3 to 4 months. So this is why I've put my leg up sometimes in the afternoon because it starts to swell up a bit. But it's all sort of, the union has worked properly and everything's okay. So I haven't got to have any surgery, so that's good. But he said no extreme sports and no running. And I pointed out my size. And I said, do I look like a runner? Yes, my consultant is a bit of a keep fit fanatic. And I was looking at some of his achievements on his online the other day, and my goodness me, he's certainly very, very keen, but more keen than I would be. But having said that, I'm going to do some keep fit in the next couple of weeks to see how we get on, to get some of those parts of my body moving that have not been fully utilised over the last 46 years. No. Since I've been working, so we'll see how we go.
I know how you feel, Nev. I got bullied into getting out the bike last weekend by Gemma because I brought a brand new bike last year and used it 2 or 3 times, and then kind of ran out of time to use it. Nev, I'll say. So got the bike out last weekend and had a little jolly out on the cycle. But I done just shy of 7.5 miles. I'll have you know on the bike, which is not bad because I hadn't been on it since last year. But yeah, it is good to exercise. I must admit, if the choice is between going to a gym or running or cycling, I think I'll take cycling any day of the week, Nev.
Oh yeah, definitely. The thing is, around here, it's not as flat as where you are in East Anglia. There's an awful lot of hills in the Chiltern Hills of Buckinghamshire. So it's hard work sometimes, and low gears are required for the older fellas like me. But no, I think one day soon I'll probably get back on the bike at some point. See how we get on. But so I was mentioning a bit of a staff shortage again this week because Matt's away in the Isle of Wight with his mum, which is nice because where that little bit of island is in the south of Hampshire, right on the south coast of the UK, sometimes it has its own little, a bit like the Channel Islands has its own little sort of climate as well, and our chum Richard Adams lives there as well, so he can tell us all about that, I'm sure as well. Andy this week is in the sim again, although we are letting him out for next week's show, so that's excellent. So it's good to see that Andy will be back with us and give us some good commentary on Airbus things and other stuff.
So who's joining us in the live YouTube chat room this evening, Nev? Who's in there this week?
A lot of people, actually. So Richard's in there, Dirk S., Mark Priestley, Tanya's in there, Mazuz, Darren, John Ellis is in there. Hello, John. Good to see you. Hobby Time, Bill is in there as well. David Corsten. Carl Stebbings, never heard of him. Alan White, good to see you, Alan. Hope the training's going well for you. And that's about it, I think. That's all the ones I can see.
John Ellis, name I've not seen before, Nev.
Indeed. If it's John Ellis, I think it is, I may well know this gentleman. So, but John Ellis is quite a popular name, so it could be many different ones. So we'll see. We'll see how we get on. But and Masha as well. So I've just realised Masha is in there too. So beg your pardon, Masha. Sorry, I didn't see you there straight away.
Yes, welcome everyone onto the YouTube stream tonight, and thanks to everyone who's joined us for the live show, including all the people who download the show as well. Thanks for downloading us. But don't forget, if you've not already done it, hit the subscribe and bell icon to be notified when we're live recording brand new shiny shows like we're doing right now. You can join us in the chat room as well, and join our family in the chat room, because they are such good fun in there, Nev, every week, aren't they?
A lot of comedy, yes. And especially when it comes to, when we do the picture quizzes and stuff like that, especially, as I say, last week was so good we couldn't read 50% of them out.
No, it's good fun.
But very funny indeed.
Right, so we've got lots of stuff to get through tonight, including we've got a double helping of retro airliner ad of the week this week, Nev. I know Dirk will love that, and we're going quite back a few years actually this week on the show. So, Nev, if you're ready, shall we do some?
Let's do the commercials.
Yeah. The captain has turned on the seatbelt light. Please take your seats and fasten your seatbelts.
And this week's first story comes to us from flightglobal.com, and this is quite interesting, Nev, because I saw this aircraft when it was first at the Farnborough Air Show many years ago, but the A380 test bed starts series of flights aimed at in-flight or in-service fleet improvements. So Airbus is undertaking a series of flight tests with its original A380 test bed as part of an effort to improve the in-flight service fleet. The airframer has not specified the nature of the testing involving MSN001. But it says the aircraft has undergone several months of preparation and systems upgrades, as well as the setup of test installations in order to conduct the flights. Airbus says the tests are necessary for certifying the latest system developments, which will soon be installed on in-service aircraft. The airframer officially lists 220 A380s as remaining in operation out of the 251 which were produced. MSN1 carried out a sortie of around 3 hours and 15 minutes on the 14th of March this year. Flight Global understands the aircraft will participate in a long series of tests given the nature of the activities planned for supporting the A380 fleet development. These will include testing of new functions created to maintain high safety and reliable standards on the aircraft type. Now, I was lucky enough, I don't know if you remember now, when one of the first visits we had to Farnborough, and this was at the Farnborough Air Show. I think it was, this is back, well, a long while ago. I remember I took my dad, and me and my father actually walked around on this aircraft, because it had all the big tanks inside where they used to fill with water and all the test bed and stuff, but got to walk around this, and I remember thinking, wow, I'd love to fly on this aircraft one day, and luckily enough I managed to get a flight on one. But they've dusted the mothballs off this Nev MSN1.
Yeah, what I didn't realise was that how few of these aircraft were actually were in production. The 251 were produced. I thought it was more than that. I don't know why I thought it was more than that, but yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? So it's as nice as that aircraft is, and I like it, I must say, but it's just been the wrong aircraft at the wrong time, hasn't it?
Yeah.
With all of the difficulty that went on with the pandemic and all the rest of it. But having said that, Emirates and some of the other Middle Eastern carriers seem to be making a very good job of it. You know, but as I think the CEO of Emirates said, a couple of years ago, if you're going to operate this aircraft, you need a lot of them. It's as simple as that, because then you've got flexibility on routes and things like that. But BA's still got a few of theirs out of service at the moment as I speak, I think. But they're gradually getting back to the full complement of 12. It promised a lot, and actually there's nothing wrong with the aircraft at all, but I just think in the way that it was, what should I say? It, as the 747 replacement, which it kind of was, it's not really done that job because the 747's already done that. And then what with the reliability that we've had from two-engine aircraft, especially on North Atlantic routes, but on others as well, burning a lot more fuel with four engines, of course. So,
can you imagine, Nev, what it would have been like if the A380 had been successful in the US?
Well, yes, that's a whole different thing, isn't it? The fact that there's been no US operators at all that have taken the A380. I think it would have done quite well, but again, it was just at the time when ultra reliable two-engine aircraft with fantastic ETOPS certification and that kind of thing. Even with the occasional problems that they've had, it's shown that they can operate safely across the North Atlantic and other long haul routes as well. So
there's a comment in the chat room, Nev, from our listener Alan White over in Ireland. He says 30 years too late.
I think so. Yeah, I'd agree with that, Alan. Absolutely. Yeah, just the wrong aircraft at the wrong time.
Darren Smith,
as nice as it is, I have to say, personally speaking, but. Just because I like it doesn't make it a commercial success necessarily, does it?
No, Darren Smith says as well, Nev, the A380 you need at least 90% passenger load to make it, make the profit, make the money. Yes,
I think the load factor on that particular aircraft. We know one of our own. Our chum John, that's very familiar with the aircraft as well. He was saying as well, wasn't he, a while ago, that you've got to have very high load factors to make the sums work on that aircraft.
So Nev, you've got the next story, and it's an update really from that terrible incident that we had earlier this year.
Yes, so this is on the AugustaFreePress.com, and you'll remember this accident that happened at Reagan National Airport. Well, the FAA have closed the helicopter route, which is they believe at the route of the Reagan National Airport crash. It took the Trump administration 6 weeks, but finally the FAA have ordered the closure of that helicopter route that runs past Reagan National. Route 4 is the helicopter route that an Army Black Hawk helicopter was flying on the evening of January the 29th when it collided with American Airlines Flight 5342, killing 67 people. The collision followed a number of recent near misses between planes and helicopters, creating what the NTSB, which earlier this week recommended closure of the route, called an intolerable risk. Permanently closing this route to non-essential helicopter traffic is the right call, said Northern Virginia Congressman Don Bayer, who represents the congressional district that includes Reagan National. My regional colleagues and I sought long-term restrictions on helicopter traffic in the days following the tragic accident in January, and the closure of Route 4 and the other steps announced by the FAA will make the airspace around DCA safer for passengers and residents, Bayer said. I thank Secretary Duffy and our other federal partners for acting so quickly on the NTSB's recommendation, and will follow up with them soon on additional potential steps to respond to this accident and the preliminary NTSB report as the FAA evaluates alternate helicopter routes in the national capital region for redirected helicopter flights, he said. There's been a lot of comment and a lot of interesting information on some of the YouTube channels. Warren Brown, I can think of, and a few others have done an awful lot of work on this. And you when you look at the layout of the airport itself and that helicopter route, you might say it's surprising that there's not been an accident before.
I'll pop up on the screen, Nev, while you've just mentioned that. There we go. I don't know if you can see that, Nev, on your feed there.
Yes.
But for those of you watching on YouTube, that there is the kind of overlay really of the helicopter route. You can see Route 4 kind of to the left of the screen going up towards the airport there with the red star where the incident happened. But Looking at that, Nev, yourself, what do you think of that particular?
Well,
plan?
we talk about separation, don't we? I mean, it being rather important, and as good as TCAS is and all the rest of it, there are limitations to those systems. And actually, I think they were talking about a 75-foot separation at one point, and as it does that left-hand turn onto runway 33. That was where the problem started, really. And I think that we've got to try. I mean, DCA as well. I mean, if you're familiar with that area, I'm not, I have to say, but just looking at it, it's a pretty challenging environment anyway. And then you've got this other stuff going on with rotary operations, and it's just, you've got to know what you're doing, and you've got to have the correct situational awareness. Otherwise, this kind of mistake could easily happen.
And let's hope we won't see it again, Nev.
Well, absolutely, yeah. Talking of rotary operations, this next story is for you, Carlos.
Yes, it is indeed. Thanks, Nev. This is from Airbus.com. Good news for Airbus, and this is good news for helicopter fans here. Airbus helicopters have been selected by the UK's National Police Air Service, or NPAS, to supply 7 H135 helicopters as the initial phase of its fleet renewal program. I'm just going to pop that on the screen now if you're watching on YouTube. The firm order is the first output of framework contracts signed by the Blue Light Commercial Procurement Agency, which confirms Airbus as the exclusive supplier of helicopters for NPAS for up to 6 years. With over 100 calls for air support each day, the National Air Police Service plays a unique and valuable role in saving lives, disrupting criminality and protecting communities. The aircraft they currently operate were transferred to NPAS from the individual police forces when the National Service was formed over 13 years ago. We very much look forward to working with Airbus, they said, in this exciting project, and anticipate receiving the first of 7 new aircraft in 2027, NPAS Chief Operating Officer and Accountable Manager Chief Superintendent Vicky White said. She said, "We are extremely proud to have been the sole provider of NPAS helicopters since its formation, and we greatly appreciate the continued confidence it's showing by awarding Airbus helicopters its first fleet renewal contract. It's a great honour for us to continue playing this critical role in the nation's security," said Richard Attack, Interim Managing Director of Airbus Helicopters in the UK. NPAS currently operates 16 H135 and 4 H145 helicopters from 14 locations on behalf of the 43 police forces in England and Wales. Airbus Helicopters in the UK additionally provides maintenance and support for the NPAS fleet, which includes the most intensely used police helicopters in the world. The new helicopters will be equipped with Airbus's Helonics avionics system, and the aircraft will initially be used to train NPAS pilots in the use of the new systems, which enhances safety and operational effectiveness by markedly reducing the pilot's workload. More than 1,440 H135s are in service worldwide and have exceeded 7.5 million hours with over 320 customers worldwide. So there we go, Nev. Bit of helicopter news there. Good news for Airbus, obviously, with their helicopter department, but it's not something we see a huge amount of in this part of the country where we are, the police helicopters. It's more in the central London and kind of the bigger cities as such you see these. But we do have the air ambulance come over quite a fair amount, Nev, which utilises the same helicopter. But is that the same for you, Nev? Because you're obviously a little bit closer to the capital than we are.
Yeah, there's occasional operations from the Thames Valley boys and girls. Normally if they're looking for someone in the middle of High Wycombe or Aylesbury or somewhere like that, you'll hear them up there for an hour or so as they're trying to search. But no, it's a very good order for Airbus, isn't it? It's great to see that the police are actually using the right kit for the job, because criminals are getting smarter by the day, aren't they? So, and sometimes the only way you can track them down is from the air. So, no, it sounds though it's a great win for Airbus, and actually a really useful asset for the police, definitely.
Interesting comment in the chat room, just seeing here from Bill Nev, says it amazes him the air ambulance is not funded by the NHS. About the money issues.
No, I completely agree, Bill. I've said it on many occasions. I don't understand why it's a charitable thing. It's we use the helicopters for mission critical and safety based things, and they rely heavily. This is not the police, but the air ambulance is on charities. Absolutely amazing, isn't that?
Yeah, I'm proud to say that for my birthdays and normally for our fundraisers that we do on Park Radio, we tend to always have the air ambulance as the charity that we raise money for, which is really good. Good feeling it is raising money for them. And also, Gemma's lucky, Nev, because her office is literally just across the way from where the helipad is at the hospital she works at. So she watches the helimeds go in and go out all day. But
that's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So, Nev, you've got the next one, and we're touching back on a story that we talked about a few weeks back, but this seems to be moving on to another airline now.
Yes, thermal runaway of powerbanks and lithium-ion batteries, as we mentioned the other week. This is on paddleyourown.canoe.com, and it says that Singapore Airlines has been the latest and the largest global carrier to ban passengers from using portable powerbanks on its flights over fears that the devices might overheat and burst into flames. Well, on Wednesday, the airline said that passengers would still be allowed to bring portable powerbanks on its planes, but that it would prohibit passengers from either using them to charge other devices or to charge them via onboard USB ports. The decision comes just weeks after an Airbus A321 operated by South Korean's Air Busan was engulfed in flames and gutted by fire as it prepared for takeoff at Busan's international airport at the end of January. Accident investigators have yet to release their final report on the incident, but preliminary findings suggest that the fire started when a passenger's portable power bank suffered what is known as thermal runaway event and burst into flames. The fire quickly spread and 176 people and 6 crew were forced to flee the aircraft as smoke filled the cabin. 3 passengers sustained minor injuries during the evacuation, whilst 4 crew members had to be treated for smoke inhalation. Well, in the wake of the accident, Air Busan banned passengers from storing portable power banks in overhead lockers, presumably so that passengers and crew could quickly identify a power bank suffering a thermal runaway event and fight the resulting fire. Like many portable electronic devices, power banks are powered by lithium-ion batteries, and when these devices malfunction, they can create an incredible amount of heat, and the resulting fire can be very hard to extinguish. Because a portable power bank is essentially a large lithium-ion battery, the risk posed by these devices overheating is seen as even greater than a mobile phone or laptop computer. Well, the Singapore Airlines ban will come into force on April the 1st, while several other carriers have already prohibited the use of portable power banks on their flights. These airlines include Thai Airways and Air Asia. Effective the 1st of April, Singapore Airlines customers will not be allowed to charge portable power banks via the onboard USB ports or use power banks to charge their personal devices throughout the duration of the flight, the airline said in a statement. The SIA group complies with the IATA dangerous goods regulations regarding the carriage of power banks, which are classified as lithium batteries. The statement continues, this means power banks must be carried in cabin baggage on all SIA flights and are not permitted in checked baggage. Customers may bring power banks with a capacity of up to 100 watt-hours without special approval, whilst those between 100 and 160 watt-hours require airline approval. And to reduce the risk posed by lithium-ion batteries, passengers are advised to, with the exception of Apple AirTags, never pack a device containing a lithium-ion battery in your checked luggage. When using onboard charging devices like USB ports and plug points, monitor your device and unplug it before going to sleep. Avoid charging your device to 100%. The US FAA suggests that keeping devices charged to around 30% will significantly reduce the risk of a thermal runaway event, and also to use authorized charging accessories and avoid using cables or devices that are damaged, and power off any devices that you are not using. One of the most effective ways to stop a thermal runaway event is to completely submerge the overheating device in water or any other liquid that might be at hand on board a commercial airliner, whether that be coffee, juice, or even champagne. This story is just going to go on and on and on, isn't it? And I think we're going to have further incidents here, because how are people going to know to charge their devices to 30% to reduce the risk of thermal runaway? I mean, that's just a ridiculous statement, I think.
Now, we were saying there the other week about the not to buy cheap power packs for obvious reasons. Now, I've done a little bit of research online for the show this week, and Nev, I'm going to just pop the camera back to you for a second. I'm going to pop these shots up on the screen. Now, Nev, what are your thoughts on this first power bank? Here we go. Can you see that one on the screen, Nev?
Yes, it's a very nice one, but it's not very expensive. It's £2.54 new pence.
What would that suggest to you, Nev?
It has got 4.8 out of 5 stars. Okay.
Now, would this one be more sort of preferable to you, Nev, to sort of stay alive?
That looks a bit more like it, doesn't it? Yes, a bit more substantial. But yeah, I mean, there's a risk with all of this stuff, definitely. But at least this does have a proper branding on it, doesn't it? Which the other one didn't really have. Although I noticed that first one you put up, it actually said it's got a hot symbol on it. Does that mean it's very popular?
What, this one here?
People are buying it, or that it is susceptible to thermal runaway?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure, Nev. I will say though, Nev, that me personally, I do own this one myself, and I've had this one now for a couple of years, and it never gets hot when you're charging it or when you're using it as a to charge your phone or tablet, which I use as well. But yeah, the difference in price, I mean, that's a fairly cheap one on a well-known website. But I think it does make a difference. I brought one myself many years ago from a non kind of regular place to buy things from, as in regards, it was a foreign based website, and that did get hot. That really did get hot when it was charging the phone. The thing used to get red hot, Nev, and that ended up going in the bin.
The other thing I was thinking about the other day is these induction charging systems you get in cars. Both my Focus ST that I've just sold and my Ford Kuga that I now have, both have induction charging systems for the phones. And I have to say, the iPhone 14 that I've got does get quite hot after about 25 minutes or so. And in one instance, the phone actually shut down because it was getting too hot. So is this another area of concern possibly? I'm not a battery expert or a charging expert, but yeah, it did get quite hot.
I'll tell you one of the functions, Nev, and I don't know whether that you have this on with the iPhone, but one of the awesome features with the Google Pixel 7 Pro, other phones are available obviously, you can turn this into a wireless charging point. So if you're with me and your phone is low on charge, I can press a button on the menu on here and then put this on the ground or on the tabletop, and you can place your phone on the back and it will charge your phone from my phone. I don't know whether that's a... But it's a
Can't
very
remember
handy
whether
function.
the latest iPhones can do that. But yeah, I mean, that's another way of working, isn't it? I suppose. Yeah, I think. Can you imagine the fire departments around the world and the special training that these guys and girls need to put out these lithium-ion battery fires that have gone into thermal runaway? I mean, it must be. It's a big job. And I remember, as Neil Cluffley said at our last big meetup, was it the 400 show, or 500 show, 400 show, wasn't it? And it can relight again 4 weeks later. So yeah, it's a big subject, isn't it?
Subject,
but yeah, inexpensive and poor quality electronics are a big problem in this area.
With aviation, definitely.
Yeah.
So next story comes from aviationa2z.com. And you may have seen this on the socials this week. We've got some audio and visual of this to play out as well. But this is a JetBlue pilot and JFK ATC heated argument. So tensions flared at JFK International Airport on Saturday, March the 8th, when communication between a JetBlue pilot and an air traffic controller deteriorated into a heated exchange. The incident involved a JetBlue flight B6815 and an Airbus A321 scheduled for departure to San Francisco. Approximately a dozen aircraft waited in two separate queues for departures from runway 31 left, some positioned on taxiway Zulu and others on the inactive runway 22 left. At the merging point, a JetBlue pilot apparently perceived confusion regarding the proper sequence for aircraft to enter the taxiway. The JetBlue pilot initiated the confrontation by suggesting that an Ethiopian Airlines aircraft wasn't moving forward because of its crew were uncertain about the correct order. And, it kind of went on from there. And we've got the audio and the video of this to play out. So be interesting to see what all your thoughts are on this. So we're going to play that for you right now.
Ethiopian 513 Heavy, continue please. Hold short at 31 left.
Continue, hold short 31 left, Ethiopian 513.
Bravo log 43 X-ray Heavy, wind 33020, gust 29, runway 31 left, takeoff.
Go for takeoff 31 left, south, look for X-ray Heavy.
Up 44 Heavy, turn left, fly the Yankee transition, contact New Park.
Yankee transition, switch to Delta 44 Heavy.
They're not pulling up because they don't know your sequence, sir.
Say again?
They're not pulling up because they don't know your sequence. They're afraid they're going to cut someone off.
Who's speaking? I need a call sign.
That's JetBlue 815, sir. There's a merger here between a runway and a taxiway. They're not sure, so they're hanging back.
All right, JetBlue 815, I thank you for your input, but they were instructed to follow the aircraft in front of them, so they are aware of their sequence.
For these mergers, they have no idea if their sequence is behind or in front of the guy to their right.
Would you like to come and do the job for me?
I'd just like you to do it better.
Do you like me to do it better, sir? I have a number for you to call when you'd like.
That's great. I'd love you to answer it.
Virgin 138 Mike Heavy, continue please.
138 Mike Heavy, continue.
Connie 615 Heavy, Kenny Tower, are you confused about who you're following?
Negative. We're following the Virgin. Connie 615 Heavy.
Just wanted to make sure everyone's aware of who they're following here. Number 5170, wind 32016, gust 29, runway 31 left, takeoff.
31 left, clear for takeoff, Endeavor 5170.
Virgin 138 Mike Heavy, Kenny Tower, 31 left, line up and wing.
31 left, line up and wing, Virgin 138 Heavy.
Virgin 138 Mike Heavy, wind 31017, gust 29, runway 31 left, takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, runway 31 left, Virgin 138 Mike.
Endeavor 5170, you can continue climbing to 5,000, contact New departure today.
Okay, continue climb to 5,000 over departure. Great job tonight, Endeavor 5170.
Thanks. Connie 615 Heavy, Kenny Tower, caution big turbulence, 31 left, line up and wing.
31 left, line of way, Connie 615 Heavy.
Endeavor 815, I have that number for you when you're ready.
Go ahead.
W15, number...
I got it. Thanks.
W815, do you need some more time? Because we're still waiting on you to call.
I'm ready to go, sir.
No, are you still going to call? Do you need some time, or are you ready to depart?
I'm ready to depart. I was planning on calling you from the other side. I want to act attack you. I was planning on making a phone call here.
All right, no problem.
What do you think of that
dear.
there? What are your thoughts on that?
JFK ATC, don't you just love them? There's so much to say about it, isn't there? I think people keying up on the RT and not giving them a call sign is not going to be a good starting point. That's the first thing I would say about the JetBlue fella that was talking to ATC there, talking to Tower. And then you get into the sarcasm fairly quickly as well. And the trouble is, you know what it's like. It's a busy airport. Nobody's got time for all this stuff. And then you've got ATC giving him a phone number to call and then wondering why he hasn't phoned them. And he's lining up for departure in the queue there. So, yeah, things can go wrong fairly quickly there, can't they? And the trouble is, it happens all the time, not just at JFK, but at other airports as well, I'm sure. But it's just you start having an argument or a difference of opinion when you're at a, frankly speaking, a mission critical stage of flight. Just before you're about to line up. Then there's going to be confusion and issues. And also, again, other operators where English isn't their first language. Now, that didn't apply in this case, I realise. But, yeah, it's just awful, isn't it?
It was busy. There's a busy lineup of aircraft waiting to take off there, Nev, on that visual. All those aircraft in that queue. And you've just got one person who's a bit impatient. But, yeah. Honestly, but going to say a special mention actually to the YouTube channel You Can See ATC. If you don't already follow them, that's where that piece of audio and visual came from. So if you don't follow, I follow them. Very good little YouTube page called You Can See ATC. Very good indeed. But Nev, moving on to the next story, and good news if you're young and sprightly and fancy a job within the aviation industry.
Oh, maybe I'll give them a call in that case then. Although, yeah, young and sprightly, that does not describe me very well, I have to say. It's on the yahoo.com, the news channel. It says that Emirates is set to host a cabin crew recruitment day in Newcastle in the northeast of England here. The event scheduled for 9 o'clock on April the 10th at the Maldron Hotel is part of the airline's global recruitment drive to meet increasing demand. Successful candidates will join the 23,300 strong crew. That's amazing, isn't it? Including more than 1,200 from the UK. The airline offers a tax-free salary, travel perks and world-class training. Crew members will have the chance to work across a network of over 140 destinations on 6 continents. Emirates provides exceptional career opportunities with extensive training facilities and professional development programs. The cabin crew will enjoy a cosmopolitan lifestyle in Dubai, a city known for its hospitality, leisure and safety. The airline offers a competitive tax-free salary with flying pay and eligibility for profit share. Furnished company accommodation and transport to and from work is also provided. A comprehensive medical, life and dental insurance coverage is also included, along with hotel stays and covered layover expenses. Crew members enjoy concessional travel benefits for themselves, their families and friends, as well as access to exclusive discounts through the Emirates FACE, F-A-C-E, and Platinum cards. The airline is welcoming applications from fresh graduates with internships or part-time job experience, candidates with at least 1 year of hospitality or customer service experience, and individuals passionate about travel and delivering world-class service. Applicants keen to launch their careers with Emirates can simply walk in with an updated CV in English and a recent photograph. Pre-registration is at emiratesgroupcareers.com/cabin crew, and it's recommended for a smoother experience, though walk-in applicants are also welcome on the day. I said the cabin crew recruitment day is going to take place on the 10th of April at the Maldron Hotel in Newcastle. And you can find out more about the opportunities there on emiratesgroupcareers.com/cabin crew. Well, we know someone, don't we, who's a cabin crew with that particular airline. And it's a very good job, but boy, the hours are long, and also the time zones must be challenging as well. And I think you need to be well, it's open to all age groups, but I would imagine you need to be on the younger side of things probably to get the best out of those jobs. But, you know, who am I to say? But it's, it's quite demanding. But the benefits that go with it are substantial, aren't they?
Yes, just reading the comments in the chat room, Nev. Jonathan Warner is quite interested in the tax-free salary.
Okay.
I think we all are. Also, Richard Adams is saying, guaranteed job if you quote a certain P2K member. Yes. You never know. You never know. But no, you only got to wear a P2K T-shirt, to be fair, and they roll a red carpet out for anyone, really. But that's not an excuse to buy one of our P2K T-shirts, obviously. We can't guarantee upgrades. Yes. But no, it's good news, Nev. I think for the younger generation who might want to pursue a career, because I think when it comes to working with an airline, albeit we are living in the UK, I think if you can get a chance to work with an airline like Emirates, where you basically do see all the world and you get to fly on some very nice aircraft, including the 380 and obviously the 777-300. And soon, I think Emirates they're getting their 777Xs, I think, aren't they, Nev? They're upgrading to those soon. But good news if you fancy having a sky high job in a very nice part of the world.
I had no idea that the number of crew that they had was 23,300.
That's a lot.
Does that include the flight deck crew? Or just the cabin crew? It doesn't say, does it?
Can you imagine the person who sorts all those out, Nev, the crew, the rostering?
Yeah, I wouldn't like to be in charge of that.
No.
I don't think I'd do a very good job of it, frankly speaking.
Now, moving on to this next one, Nev. I don't know if you saw this one on the social media feeds this week, Nev, with the videos. Yeah. This is bbc.co.uk. This is from passengers evacuate onto wing of burning American Airlines jet. I have many questions on this, Nev. Passengers on an American Airlines flight were evacuated onto the tarmac of an airport in Colorado as fire broke out on the aircraft, sending smoke billowing into the air. Going to pop this video up while I read the rest of this story for those who are watching in the world of YouTube. The US Federal Aviation Administration said passengers used inflatable slides to reach the ground safely at the Denver International Airport. The agency said it would investigate the cause of the incident. There were no reports of serious injuries, although the airport later confirmed 12 people were taken to hospital for minor injuries. The flight took off from nearby Colorado Springs and was on the way back to Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport in Texas, the FAA said in a statement. The aircraft diverted to Denver at around 5:15 local time after the crew reported engine vibrations, the FAA said. After the aircraft landed, it caught fire while taxiing on the tarmac at the airport. American Airlines said the plane had 172 passengers on board, along with 6 crew members. All were evacuated safely, the company said. It added that the aircraft was a 737-800 and experienced an engine-related issue. Smoke and flames were visible from various gates at the airport, according to an airport spokesperson. and he said the fire was doused and it did not lead to any delays to any other flights. Some of those inside the airport posted videos on social media showing the aircraft's passengers walking towards the edge of the wing as large clouds of black smoke filled the air, and ground crews can be seen rushing onto the wing while pushing ladders. Videos also show flames under the aircraft's wing on the right engine as an inflatable evacuation slide appears at the aircraft's rear door. The evacuation comes after a recent string of high-profile incidents in North America that have raised concerns about aviation safety. So the video's playing there, Nev. You could see that there as well. But I just, with a fire, I would want to not have my passengers kind of standing there on the wing. I don't know.
I think that there's what's happened there is. I'm presuming the flight deck crew are just about to shut down the engines. So as you turn onto the stand, you will disarm the doors. Literally, as you're doing a 90-degree right onto the stand, you will disarm the doors at that point, so that when you open the emergency exits, the slides don't pop. And the other thing is because they've just about to shut the engine down, or they've shut the engines down, normally you would run the flaps to 40, presumably, so that the passengers have got a chance of actually sliding down on the flaps. But with no, engine power going, and perhaps the hydraulics were shut down as well at that point, they didn't have the chance to do that. So that's where the problems come from, I think. Also, carrying your bags.
Was there bag carrying going on
aircraft?
Nev?
Can we stop doing that?
Was there
please?
some of that? Blimey.
So yeah, I think the problem is, as John says, there's no way that was a commanded evacuation. We don't disarm until parked. That's interesting, because certainly, I don't know about the rest of Europe, but certainly in the UK, the moment that you are turning on to the stand itself, the doors are disarmed at that point. But yeah, so, and then you would need to run the flaps to 40 in order for them to slide down that part of it. But yeah, quite a moment really. But yeah, another problem of people taking their bags with them.
Dirk Guess has made a comment in the chat room, Nev. Obviously an interesting one as always. Thanks, Dirk. Dirk said the engine was obviously running on a power bank.
Oh, yes.
Another one from Isle of Wight says the wings are full of fuel and now passengers are standing on them.
Yes. I'm surprised he didn't light up a cigarette just to complete the picture. But yeah, and John was saying that they don't disarm the doors until parked. I wonder if that might change with some European operations, perhaps. Be interesting to see if they take a note of that, because that was the reason that they couldn't deploy the slides, because the slides presumably had been disarmed, and it would be very difficult, wouldn't it, if you can imagine the chaos that's going on at that point, for the flight deck crew to tell the cabin crew to rearm the slides, the doors again. That would be massive confusion, wouldn't there, at that point? So yeah, I don't know. Interesting. Luckily there was no serious injuries according to that report, so that's good. But yeah, suboptimal, I would say.
Yeah, we seem to have got some of the crew back in the chat room, Nev. I don't know if you noticed that young master Andy is back from the sim session. Yeah,
well, he should be in the sim. He shouldn't be doing YouTube. He should be paying attention to his students and criticising them as he would.
Right, Nev, you've got the next story, and something I didn't think I'd be seeing quite this soon.
No, quite. It's on aerotime.aero. Ukraine's Lviv airport is hoping to reopen to scheduled flights in the spring of this year. Well, the international airport located in the Oblast region of eastern Ukraine has publicly stated an intention to reopen regular commercial passenger services in late spring of 2025, as the facility remains optimistic about a resumption of services following the publication of a Ukrainian government report. The international airport handled 1.8 million passengers in 2021, but was forced to close in February 2022 following the invasion by Russian forces into the country. The airport has remained shut since, although several airlines have already stated they would be willing to reintroduce services to the airport as and when it reopens to commercial operations. As reported by the Kyiv independent publication, the Director General of Lviv Airport, speaking with one of the media outlets on the 15th of March, said that the gateway could reopen as early as April or May 2025, following the publication of an optimistic scenario under government consideration. Should this timeline not be achieved, other potential dates for the reopening of Ukraine's airspace, including the summer months of 2025, according to the General Director. The Director of Lviv Airport said that 5 to 7 airlines have already stated a readiness to commence operations at the airport within a month of the airport reopening, adding that the restart of commercial operations would signify a strong symbol of international solidarity with Ukraine. Well, they confirmed that airlines such as Wizz Air, Air Baltic, Turkish Airlines, SkyUp, Austrian Airlines, Lufthansa and LOT are prepared to operate from Lviv once flights resume. Right now, we're talking about restoring regular flights from Lviv, they said, and SkyUp Airlines will likely take the lead in bringing back charter flights, as they have a well-developed route network in Europe and are ready to resume the same routes from Lviv or another Ukrainian city, she added. So far in 2025, airline representatives have reached out to us, conducting their audits and are analysing the situation. Well, Wizz Air completed its audit in 2024, and the Director General added that once a decision to reopen the airspace is made, airline teams could arrive and begin operations within 3 to 4 days. We hope that the airport will reopen in the summer period, because that's when the aviation traffic is at its highest, during vacations, long daylight hours and peak travel season. But if it happens in April or May, that would be an extremely positive development for us. Well, early in March 2025, Latvian carrier Air Baltic sent a delegation to Ukraine to engage with key stakeholders and assess the necessary steps to restore air operations from the country. As part of its commitment, Air Baltic publicly stated its intention to reintegrate Kiev and Lviv into its route network as soon as conditions allow. Additionally, the airline plans to expand its services beyond Riga by linking Kiev with other Baltic capitals such as Tallinn and Vilnius to strengthen regional connectivity. Additionally, the Ukraine government is considering reopening another airport in western Ukraine, located directly on the border with Slovakia and in close proximity to the borders of Hungary and Poland, all of which are current NATO member states. Uzhhorod International Airport is serving smaller general aviation movements, and the airport's runway 10 threshold lies just 90 metres from the border with Slovakia, with approaching aircraft having to use Slovakian airspace under a special licence to land at the airport. I don't know if people have been looking at the news today or yesterday. I just can't help thinking that this is a bit premature. I mean, I hope it can be done safely, but wow, there's a lot to talk about there. And with the current situation between Russia, the US, and Ukraine, I will not be getting on a flight that's operating out of Lviv.
There's certainly some comments in the chat room, Nev. I don't know if you want to just have a quick breeze. There are some very interesting comments in the chat room about this story.
Yeah, Mark Priestley says, is this an early April Fool's Day scenario or a Top Gun pilot available? And Alan White says, good news, but hopefully it can be done safely. My worry is the shooting down of the Azerbaijan Airlines flight. Is the airspace safe? And I honestly, I think that this is, it's a great wish, but the instability in that region at the moment must be just unbelievable. And obviously, there's commercial operation at the airport, and they are hemorrhaging money left, right, and centre. But you've got to have a safe operation going in and out of the airspace, surely. I mean, that's a bit fundamental, isn't it? So, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm impressed with the optimism, but I have to say it's a massive leap, isn't it? Particularly in the current situation. Yeah,
I don't think we're going to see Jet2 offering up package holiday deals sort of anytime soon, Nev.
Well, we've already had, in the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, commercial airlines being shot down accidentally, in inverted commas. I don't know. This is just for me, it's just a step too far. I think it's ridiculous. But those are the guys and girls that know what they're doing, hopefully. But I just have to say, I think it's too much at this volatile stage, anyway.
Right, so let's go on to the next story, Nev. Now, this one was sent in by Jonathan Warner. Link he sent to us on the show. Nick put this in on the show notes. Now, this is about some of the write-ups or gripe sheets that are sent in after every flight from UPS pilots who fill out a form called a gripe sheet, which tells mechanics about the problems with the aircraft. The mechanics correct problems, document their repairs on the form, and the pilots review the gripe sheets for the next flight. Nevertheless, said this article says that ground crews lack a sense of humour, and here are some of the actual maintenance complaints submitted by UPS pilots and the solutions.
So shall I be the pilot here, and then you can be the maintenance engineer? Okay. So these are the gripes. So left inside main tyre almost needs replacement.
Almost replaced. Left inside main tyre.
Test flight okay, except auto land very rough.
Auto land not installed on this aircraft.
Something loose in the cockpit.
Something tightened in the cockpit.
Dead bugs on windshield.
Live bugs on back order.
Autopilot at altitude hold mode produces a 200 feet per minute descent.
Cannot reproduce problem on the ground.
Evidence of leak on right main landing gear.
Evidence removed.
DME volume unbelievably loud.
DME volume set to more believable level.
Oh dear. Friction locks cause throttle levers to stick.
That's what friction locks are for.
IFF inoperative in off mode.
My word. IFF always inoperative in off mode.
Suspected crack in windshield.
Suspect you're right.
Number 3 engine missing.
Engine found on right wing after brief search.
Aircraft handles funny.
Aircraft warned to straighten up, fly right, and be serious.
Target radar hums.
Reprogrammed target radar with lyrics.
Mouse in cockpit.
I like this one. Cat installed.
And finally, noise coming from an under-instrument panel. Sounds like a midget pounding on something with a hammer.
Took hammer away from midget.
I had seen and heard some of those before, but they're quite funny, aren't they?
Yeah. John Jester in the chat room says that this has been going around for a few years, but it's still very, very amusing, I will say, Nev. Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I chuckled, I must say.
Right, Nev, you've got the next one, and let's just hope that you don't have to smuggle anything like this in your pants.
Oh dear. It's on paddleyourown.canoe.com, and it says that the TSA made a rather unusual discovery whilst giving someone a pat-down search at Newark Airport last Friday after the passenger pulled a turtle out the front of their pants. Usually accustomed to finding firearms, knives and drugs, one can only imagine the look on the face of the TSA when the passenger handed over the roughly 5-inch turtle that they had tried to smuggle through the security checkpoint. The TSA was first alerted to something suspect when the passengers passed through the body scanner, activating an alarm for a potentially concealed weapon around the groin area. Unusually accustomed. Sorry, I've just read that paragraph again. Anyway, the unlucky TSA officer who was assigned the job of patting down the passenger found a larger bulge than anticipated around the man's groin and asked the passenger if he was hiding something. At this point, the man voluntarily reached into his pants and pulled out the small turtle, which was wrapped in a small blue blanket. The passenger claimed the turtle was a red ear slider turtle. According to the US Fish and Wildlife Service, the red ear slider isn't native to the United States, but the species is controlled because it is considered an invasive species that competes with native turtles for food and habitat. Praising the TSA officer, if I can get through this story, it'll be surprising. Praising the TSA officer who had to search the passenger, Federal Security Director for New Jersey, Thomas Carter, commented, "I commend our officer who conducted the pat-down in a very professional manner in an effort to resolve the alarm. We have seen travellers try to conceal knives and other weapons on their person, in their shoes and in their luggage. However, I believe this is the first time we've come across someone who was concealing a live animal down the front of their pants." Carter added, "As best we could tell, the turtle was not harmed by the man's actions." The passenger was temporarily detained whilst Port Authority police questioned the man, which ended up with him missing his flight. The passenger was then escorted out of the airport, although there's no word yet on whether the man faces potential criminal charges. Whilst relatively unusual in the US, it's not unheard of for airport security officers to discover passengers trying to smuggle exotic animals on international flights. In December 2023, for example, a Taiwanese man was busted at Bangkok's airport after trying to smuggle a prairie dog and two otters in his pants. Oh, dear. Oh, Carl, what can you say about that?
What about having an otter in your pocket?
Oh, it's too much, isn't it?
I mean, there was a comment in the chat room just when you started that story. Just as well, it wasn't a snapping turtle.
Quite, yes.
And there has been a few other comments in the chat room. Never, I don't know if you've seen some of the comments in there since you've been reading that story, but
I had to shut the chat room down because as I was reading that story, I was noticing there was a lot of comments going on. So I couldn't actually. I'm glad I didn't read them. Actually.
Honestly, you chat room, you are terrible when it comes to stories like this and the comments. But in seriousness, Nev, it's not the best scene to be smuggling through anywhere, really, through an airport. And I feel sorry for the poor turtle.
Yeah, I know. What a oh dear. Yeah, it's not the way forward, is it? But I don't want to say any more about it because I don't think I'll be able to finish any more of the show if I'm not careful. So.
Richard Adams is saying, Nev, that he knows a bloke with 2 missing fingers due to a single otter bite.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. Hobby Time is saying, good job it wasn't a turkey.
Quite. Oh dear.
Oh my word. Anyway, for those of you who watch back the show on YouTube, you can re-watch the chat room. And if you get yourselves to this particular part of the show, you can actually watch the chat room, and you'll be able to see some of the more interesting comments that have been left by our lovely chat room members. But very good, thank you. And well done for getting through that one, Nev. Well done.
Oh,
well
dear.
done.
I wish I had. In fact, I'm glad I didn't read the story in advance. Otherwise, that would have been even more painful to get through, I think. But
just
classic.
last one from Bill. Bill says it was probably an emotional support.
Yes. Oh, dear.
Anyway, right, Nev, time for the next thrilling part of the show. And it's a special one this week, Nev, isn't it?
Yes, very much so. And actually, this week is a double helping of retro airline ads, where we head back to 1968, where one airline wants you to fly the friendly skies, and to 1982 to an airline that spends $1 million a day to make sure everything goes right. And what's that supervisor's name?
I'm late.
Bye.
We know little things going wrong can be a big nuisance when you travel. That's why at American Airlines,
we spend over $1 million a day making sure everything goes right. From important inspections out here
To making sure everything works in here.
thanks.
We're American Airlines, doing what we do best. Come fly with me, United Line of friendly skies. Come fly with me, United Line of friendly skies.
United Airlines says come fly with me on your vacation. We fly to all the great vacation spots in this land, and our 6,000 travel agents have special fares and plans for every single one of them. They can even get you a free United credit card so you can charge it. See one of our travel agents first. Then, come on, come fly our friendly skies.
Come fly with me, United Line of friendly skies. Come fly with me, United Line of friendly skies. Fly the friendly skies of United.
Well, what do you think of that, Nev?
Dear. As Richard Adams pointed out from that first clip, what was the flight attendant patting on that passenger? Couldn't help but notice that. Oh dear. Yeah. Well, they just keep coming, don't they?
Yeah.
Some great classic stuff there.
Yeah.
But, probably couldn't use it today, though.
No, Darren Smith saying in the chat room, must say this section is dominated by US airlines. And it is. I'm not going to lie. When you do a search of retro airline ads, a good 80% of what I find are ads from the US. Whether it is because we couldn't be bothered to advertise our airlines back in the earlier years now, but I know BA used to run some fairly good advertisements on TV. But I think it's obviously there was more airlines in the US. And they do a much better job of the marketing anyway, I would imagine. So, but yeah, there's some great stuff in there, and more to come. We're not short of material here at all. We're not. Alan White says, Nev, those jingles will haunt me.
Yeah, too right.
Yeah.
Oh dear, classic, absolutely classic.
Right, so Nev, what we got next? It's a little special bit, haven't we, Nev?
Yeah, a bit unusual. I went to the Science Museum in London yesterday, Tuesday. And I've not actually been to the Science Museum in a visitor capacity for many, many years. Probably I was 10 or 11, I think, something like that, last time I went there. I've been going there quite a lot in a business capacity because I know the AV team there quite well. So when I was working, I used to go there quite a bit, but I never spent any time really in the museum. I was just going in and out of offices and talking to folks mainly. But what I had forgotten is that on the 3rd floor of the Science Museum is their exhibition all about flight and the galleries that they've got up there. And so I thought I didn't have my camera with me or anything, so I just took it on the iPhone. So, Carlos, if you can just run a bit of the VT of this. And they've got some big stuff there. There's an RB211 engine. And then next to it is a Olympus 593, one of the spare engines off of Concorde. And there's some other memorabilia as well coming up in a second. And the collection they've got is absolutely unbelievable. It's a PW 120 Pratt & Whitney turboprop there. And the way that they've got it laid out is really, really well done. And it's all, life-size stuff. That's a Hawker Siddeley 125 from back in the day, probably made in Hatfield or Woodford, I would imagine. And the way that they've got them displayed was really impressive, I thought. The only thing I would say that spoilt it slightly, and my apologies to anyone that has teenage or young children, is that obviously they have a lot of schools going around there as well, and the noise was horrific. It was absolutely deafening, so it was quite difficult to actually hear yourself think at times. But that aside, the collection was brilliant. Has the video stopped?
No, it's still playing, apparently, according
to... Oh, is it?
To,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, okay. But it's just stopped on my Zoom feed, that was all.
It's
actually stopped on the YouTube feed as well, I think.
It's still showing as playing on here.
Oh, it's not. It's stopped.
No.
It has ceased to be. Oh. It's just stopped on the HS125. Oh, there we go. It's going again now, I think.
The German Fokker monoplanes.
Yes.
There's quite a lot there, Nev, and the airship as well.
A hell of a lot, yeah. An awful lot there. Don't know what the video's doing, but it's not really playing.
The bar is moving along, but the video is not actually changing, so I don't know quite what is wrong.
No, okay, that's a pity. But we'll pursue and fix that. But so if you get the chance to go to the Science Museum in London, go and have a look at the 3rd floor, which is the flight gallery, and there's stuff there right from the 1900s. Almost up to the present day, and it's very well looked after. Could have done with a few more volunteers, perhaps, just showing people around. But apart from that, if you're into your aviation and you like the collection, it was a really, really good day out, actually. And considering it's not an aviation museum, the collection that they have there was just phenomenal. So I was really impressed with it. So if you get a chance to go, please go and have a look at the 3rd floor, because it's all up there. Lots of engines, gearboxes, you name it, parts, and flying machines galore.
It looks very reminiscent, Nev, of one of the the hangars at Duxford, doesn't it? The museum.
Very much so. Yeah, I thought that when I went in there, actually. But no, they've done a good job there, and the restoration and the preservation of it all is really good. Actually, they've done a good job of that.
That looks really good. Now I have to take a trip there myself, I think.
Yep, Jonathan Warner says he went there a few weeks ago as well.
And what was the entrance charges for that, Nev, to get in?
Well, it's free. You are encouraged to make a donation. So you can make a donation of whatever you wish, £10 or whatever it is. But generally speaking, the Science Museum is free to go into. There are certain parts of it that you do have to pay to go into, but the main exhibition areas are all free of charge. And it's just down the road from right next door to South Kensington Tube Station, so very easy to get to as well.
Very good indeed, Nev. We are lucky, aren't we? We do have some great museums in the country. But, always good to see plenty of aviation stuff in there. Because I think, was it Nev, someone was saying in our group this week that there are some changes afoot at Duxford Imperial War Museum as well.
Yes, I'd heard that. I've not got the full story there. But
I think there's some aircraft being moved, isn't there, from
that's right, yeah,
from a hangar to somewhere else. But yes, but it's time for Nev's favourite part of the show.
Yes.
which is obviously the military grey stuff. So if you are ready, Nev, I shall hit that button.
I am ready.
Bogies 13550, Angel 16, heading 340. Okay. 108 bogies.
Actually, just saying it, just looking at the chat room quickly, Neil Lamb has said, don't forget to try Old Warden. Lots of similar aircraft, and some of them fly as well there, which is quite good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Darren and Neil are mentioning Hendon as well. And we did a meet up with the airline pilot guy, boys and girls, some time ago, didn't we? As well there. So, great museums here in the UK.
So this first story comes from the bbc.co.uk, and this is, well, I think if everyone got this experience or get the chance to do work experience like this, I mean, I was lucky. I went to a heliport for my work experience when I was at school at Beccles. But this young pilot given work experience with the Red Arrows.
Wow.
A teenager proved the sky has no limits after she was given work experience with the Red Arrows. Holly Rowley White, who's 17, from Beccles in Suffolk, which is literally just across the field here from where I am, is a student pilot and flew solo for the first time just 5 days after her 16th birthday. Having previously connected with the Red Arrows team last year, she got back in touch with them to see if she was able to take on a 3-day placement with them. She headed up to RAF Wallington in Lincolnshire, where she experienced the day-to-day life of a team as well as what it takes to work in air traffic control and operations. And for those of you watching in the world of YouTube, I'm going to pop the pictures up on the screen there for you. She said she got to spend 2 days with the aerobatics team. She said, so I got to go to the operations side of things. She explained. I got to see the pilots, got to see the operations that go on behind the scenes and all the planning and routes that go to Cyprus and Croatia and all those kinds of places, she said. She also got to see the engineering and how things are put together with the teams who look after the Red Arrows. And during her last day with the air traffic control, she was able to witness an operation that was also involved the Saudi-Turkish Air Forces. She met pilots, former pilots, engineers, and joined various meetings before watching the Red Arrows training exercises. The place where I got to stand and watch them, she said, were so close and they were so low to the ground, she added. Some of the stunts they carry out are breathtaking, as we all know. And another shot on the screen there. The biggest moment for her, she said, was to sit on the wing of an aircraft and get a picture with a pilot. That was pretty cool, she said. Prior to her work placement, Holly caught the eye of the Red Arrows team after she fundraised for her Air Cadet Squadron. They invited her as a VIP guest to their 60th display opening season, where she similarly got to visit the base and also meet the team. Holly aimed to join the RAF with future ambitions to fly its Typhoon fighter jets. And there we are. There's a picture for those who are watching on YouTube of Holly with some of the Red Arrows team there. So I have to say, Nev, I think there'll probably be a few jealous children around the world.
Yeah, phenomenal, isn't it? What a great opportunity. Absolutely marvellous.
Yeah,
what if we get her on the show as she's just down the road?
Just down the road. I'll have to try. I'll have to reach out to the flying school and pull some strings. But no, what an awesome way to spend your work experience. I mean, I really enjoyed my 2 weeks at the heliport, but to be, that was flying on an S61 there, the old Sikorsky S61 and the 76s. But to get to join the Red Arrows for work experience is definitely up there with a cool rating. So, Nev, you've got good news next for those living in the UK who love the BBMF.
Yeah, it's on the avweb.com, and it says that a familiar sight and sound will return to British air shows this year after 10-month grounding of the RAF's Merlin-powered Hurricanes and Spitfires. The iconic Second World War fighters were grounded almost a year ago after the May 25th of last year's crash of a Spitfire flown by Squadron Leader Mark Long, one of the many RAF line pilots who fly the warbirds based at RAF Coningsby. The RAF maintains 5 Spitfires, 2 Hurricanes and a Lancaster bomber, and the Dakota transport in flying condition there. Mark Long died when his Spitfire Mark is that 9? MK356 he was flying came down in a field near the home base. Whilst the investigation into the fatal accident involving the aircraft on the 25th of May 24 continues, all available evidence has been considered in making the decision to return to flying, the RAF said in a social media post. The Merlin-powered Lancaster returned to service 2 months after the crash, and only the single-engine fighters were grounded. The grounding did not affect civilian operating aircraft in the UK. Well, that's good news, isn't it? So obviously they think they've got to the the fact that there's by grounding the fleet gives them the opportunity to actually have a seriously good look at what's gone on there. And that they're happy that they're able to fly again.
And it is a massive part of the air shows for a lot of people in the UK, Nev, who travel to places like Duxford and some of the other bigger air shows as well, Seething as well, not Seething, Old Buckingham, air show that some of these aircraft get the chance to fly over. But we were lucky, weren't we, Nev, last year to meet up with some of the people, the team at the B-17, Sally B. As well,
absolutely.
Which is awesome.
That was fantastic,
Very
wasn't
good indeed. But no, it's great to see these warbirds kept flying and returning to the airshow circuit this year. So we're looking forward to see these actually, Nev, later this year, aren't we?
Yep, very much looking forward to that.
So on that note, Nev, sticking with the name or the word air show, I said we have got a lineup, haven't we, Nev, of what we're doing this year with the P2UK.
Yes, so let's give you a bit of a rundown of the things that we think we know about at the moment in terms of the things that we are planning. So we're planning on going to the Duxford Summer Air Show on June the 21st at the Imperial War Museum in Duxford. The entrance fee for that is £49.50 for adults. If you're a child, 15 or under, you can get in for free. This is on the Saturday, but children must be accompanied by an adult. If you're driving to the Imperial War Museum, please ensure that you book a parking permit for your visit. Otherwise, you won't be able to park on site without a valid parking permit, and that costs £5. The other thing that we're doing is the Shuttleworth Summer Air Show on July the 26th. Provisional timings for that are the gates open at 9 o'clock, with also the ground attractions there as well, opening at 9. The first flying commences at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and the first flying display ends at approximately 5:30. Then at 7:30 in the evening, there's a second flying display which ends at 8:30, and the gates close at 9 o'clock in the evening. Pricing for that is £42 for an adult. If you're a member of Shuttleworth, it's £36, and children go free. Not sure what the age limit is for that, but I'll find out and let you know. Then on the 2nd of August, we are Carl and I are going to the Republic of Ireland, to the Bray Air Show, and this is the biggest public free event in Ireland. It's the first time we've done this. Getting some help from our chum Alan White as well. When we get to have a bit more information about it, we'll give you some more details. But that's looking I'm really interested in that show, and it's going to be a fascinating new thing for us to do as well. We're going to have a Beccles summer meetup at the airfield there, Echo Golf Sierra Mike at the airfield. That'll be our summer meetup on the 30th of August. We've just got to confirm that with the aviation chums there. We've not actually done that yet because we've had to change dates around a little bit. One thing we have got just about confirmed, though, is that we're going to be attending the Sywell Classic Pistons and Props show on the 20th of September. We just got the paperwork through for that today. The gates open at 10 o'clock. Advanced adult tickets are £18. Under 15s go free. And these are on the gate prices. They are £25 for adults. And that's what we have in the diary so far. Subject to change, obviously, subject to weather and all the rest of it. But yeah, we're really looking forward to trying to bring you more stuff this year from air shows. And yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, something else that we also thought we'd do this year for the benefit of our listeners who might not be able to make it across, excuse me, to the pond, to the UK, is, as Nev knows, we're lucky here on the east of England to have some really great museums on offer to us, some Second World War bases that are open as museums with static aircraft and also exhibitions. So we are going to hopefully get together when the weather gets slightly warmer and visit some of the awesome museums that we have here in Suffolk and Norfolk and do some filming, and also we'll obviously be playing that out on the show for you to watch as well. And it gives you kind of an idea of what we have here in east of England in regards to museums, and also give you a chance as well if you fancy making a trip across to the UK. If you don't live in the UK, it will give you kind of an idea as to what we've got here on offer, because we are a bit, as Nev knows, we are in the end of nowhere here in Suffolk. We are, it is a drive from London to get here, albeit it's what 2.5 hour drive. Has of a Nev?
Yeah,
Nev,
I'm just going to check my
hour?
passport validity actually for coming over as well. But no, on a serious note, I'm really interested in seeing some of those East of England museums, especially talking to the curators and the museum volunteers as well. Perhaps get some interviews with them to learn more about the museums and what it's all about. So, no, looking forward to doing that with you, Carlos, during the course of the spring and summer.
Awesome. Right, social media links. Don't forget you can find us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Search for Plain Talking UK. Email the show. We'd love to hear from you. You can email us podcast@plaintalkinguk.com. The website, all the w's.plaintalkinguk.com. We can find more information about us as a team. Also, there's a shop there where you can get yourself a P2UK t-shirt and also a mug as well if you've not already got one of those. The normal mug, or you can have a military grey mug, which Jonathan Warner has one of those. You don't forget as well to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you don't already do that, and join us in the chat room every week for the live show. There's also info on the website where you can find out about becoming a patron of the show, and also a PayPal donator of the show as well, which has come in handy in the last few days, hasn't there? Because we've had to sort of secure a few insurance things out for the show, haven't we, Nev, to enable us to do
public
stuff.
Liability insurance.
Yes.
Very important. So we've had to do a bit of that. We already had some, but we needed a bit more, really, for one of the air shows that we're going to be doing. So that's very important for us to make sure that we are complying with the organisers' wishes. By the way, there's a new WhatsApp number, don't forget.
Oh, yes.
Which is +44 7446 975 214. That's +44 7446 975 214. So please send your comments, pictures, and what have you over to us. Make sure we can broadcast it though.
Oh, will do.
So
will do. Yeah, and hopefully when Matt is back running the show, I can have my green screen behind me, and I'll be utilising some of those pictures that have already been sent through to the WhatsApp number, which we've got here access to. We all have access to that as a team, so we'll hopefully get one of your pictures behind me on the wall, all being well, next week. Andy is in the chat room, and he has said, Nev, do you want to take a screenshot of that, Nev?
Yeah, I'm just doing it now.
He'll be back next week. So yeah, Andy will be back with us next week, and hopefully we'll have all the team together for next week's show. But that is where we're going to wrap up the show for this week, episode 543. My word, Nev, we're getting ever closer to 550. Don't forget to join us next week on the show for more aviation fun and games. And I'm going to say a big thanks to everyone who's joined us in the YouTube chat room tonight as well. Thank you for joining us this evening on this Wednesday, the 19th of March. My word, Nev, we're nearly into April. Honestly.
I know. Just one thing I forgot to mention,
yes.
Darren just nudged me, is that the Jumbo Stay Hotel, which is the 747 close to Arlander Airport, has shut, unfortunately, which was a real pity. So another aviation thing that's no longer around. So no, a great pity. So thanks for letting me know about that, Darren. But I had no idea.
Yeah, Darren did message this afternoon actually about that as well. I saw the report about that, and it's one of those places where I had it in my head that I wanted to go and visit because you can actually stay like on the flight deck in a room and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. But closed. I think Nev, the report said something about they want to use the land for something else. Yeah, one of those again. Yeah.
No, yeah.
So that's it for the show then. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for downloading us each week. We love the fact that you all listen and download the show. Thank you ever so much to all you across the globe for listening to us each week do this amazing show, because you are a massive part of this show as the listener. So that's it. Nev, would you like to say goodbye to everyone, and I shall get ready to push the right buttons.
Yes, thanks everyone for joining again this week. Hope you have a nice weekend and remainder of the week, and we'll be back at 7 o'clock UK time next Wednesday. So I look forward to seeing you then. Bye for now.
And there we go. Hello.
Jolly good. Just a thought.
Yes.
With your moving house.
Yes.
Will you have space for all of your aviation memorabilia that you have?
Well, this was asked by a couple of members of the PTUK family on a chat, or on the WhatsApp chat last week, funnily enough. And yes, there is going to be a room dedicated for the show and for having my pieces of aircraft on. So, yeah. The section of 777 and section of L1011 Tristar and the RB211 Stage 1 fan blade will have a home, Nev.
I was just amazed you didn't go for well, perhaps it's because you're moving house, the Jet 2 757 that's being broken up down at St Athan this week.
Yeah. Well, there's still scope for, there's always a piece of wall somewhere that'll fit something on.
Oh, dear. How funny.
It'll be, Bill, in the house, back in the house for this time, back in the studio. So at the moment, as you all know, I am in the garage conversion studio that I built last year. But the new home will have a room which will be my studio. So yeah, but we're a little way off yet. The ball's only just started rolling on the new home, so we've got a little while to lay. As those of you in the UK will know, that solicitors tend to charge lots of money, but never seem to go very quick.
They're not in a rush, are they?
No. And they know how to charge. Trust me. When I was young, when I was young and left school, I should have studied and been a solicitor. Definitely.
Yeah, their hourly rates are impressive, I must say. More than your local garage, that's for sure. for servicing your car.
Yeah. When you think local garages, how their hourly rates are, that's nothing. Nothing compared to a solicitor's fees.
No, average garage rate, I think, is about £120 per hour, generally speaking, for labour, isn't it?
Your way, maybe, Nev. Oh, blimey. Ours is our local decent garage here is 90 quid.
Well, they're more used to doing tractors and combine harvesters, presumably, aren't they?
Thanks, Nev.
Not high performance Ford vehicles.
Much appreciated, Nev. Much appreciated. But I shall be taking all the plane tags with me, which are just behind me here, which you might be able to see on the camera there. The plane tags and stuff, they'll all be going with me. It's just a matter of finding somewhere to put all this stuff, because the house we're moving into is considerably smaller than the one we're currently in, because we wanted to downsize. Yes, and allow a family to live in this house rather than just me, Gemma, and the boys, as in David, Nigel, the cat. But so yes, Dirk S. So smaller house, but a giant hangar. Actually, funnily enough, Dirk, the new house does have a lot bigger garage. Yeah, so there is scope there, I will say. But yes, it's all exciting times, I will say. But
yeah, well, I hope it all goes well, because it's a stressful time, isn't it? Moving house. I've not done it since 2006 when we moved here, and I'm not intending to do any more moving. But yeah, it's great when you're in, but then of course that's when the hard work starts as well, doesn't it? Is creating it in the way you want it to be.
Yeah, I think we're lucky because the house we're moving into is very well done, well presented, very nice inside. Obviously, food things will tweak, but it's very nice. But looking forward to welcoming you and Mrs. Nev over in the summertime, Nev.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah,
so, yeah. Let's hope we get some decent weather as well.
Yeah, me too. Right, we better let these chat room gorgeous people get back to their Wednesday evening, and wish you all a great rest of the week and weekend, whatever you're up to. And Nev, anything exciting going on next week?
Just looking at the diary, I think Sue's got an MRI scan on Monday. I mean, this is how we roll in our house. It basically it goes from doctor's appointments to dentist appointments, and what have you. All very exciting stuff. Quick look at the diary tells me that no, it's a very quiet week next week. Nothing too major. Oh, she's going to collect some new glasses on Wednesday, and then. I'm on the Friday, the 28th, so we'll have done another show by then. I'm going to the Concorde simulator at Brooklands, because the company I was working for very kindly bought me a silver Concorde Experience. I've been on that before many years ago, but I'm looking forward to going back, actually. So that will be interesting. I'm not sure I can do any filming there, but I'll have a word with them in advance, see if I can do some bits and pieces.
Excellent. Nothing exciting for me next week, I'm afraid. Just a normal work. Off round friends this weekend for what hopefully, fingers crossed, if the weather stays as it is at the moment, will be our first visit to a barbecue this year.
Oh, nice.
Yes, our friends are hoping to put a barbecue on. And there will obviously be a couple of beers drunk and stuff. So looking forward to that this weekend. But other than that, we'll be frantically getting some more bits and pieces packed away, and all that kind of thing. Trying to downsize everything. We'll be there. Hopefully by this time in August, Nev, I shall be in the new studio.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Right.
Good. All right.
That's it. We'll leave you to say goodbye to our gorgeous listeners while I get this ready to end.
Yes. Hope you have a very nice remainder of the week and the weekend. So we'll be back on Wednesday next week, 7 o'clock UK time. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now.